Keep talking like this. Keep talking like this.
Yeah.
Sounding pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, we can work with this. Okay. Shit. Yeah. All right. So, what's today? It's the 15th.
Yes.
Today is
Sunday, June 15th.
Today's Sunday, June 15th. You're listening to Outdoor Cats. I'm hungover. I'm not hungover every day, but it seems like I am hungover every day that we record. Lately.
We're recording on Sundays now. Sundays come after Saturday nights. I, by all rights, probably should be hungover, but weirdly I'm not. I feel pretty good.
Yeah, we're sitting right now on my front porch with an elaborate outside recording setup because I hear you, everyone who watches the Worcester Council Theater 3000 stream. The audio is garbage. The video is garbage when I am in person, and I am committing to doing better. So, given all of that, a little test run today. I got a battery pack. We're working all sorts of angles here. It's going to be fun. Me and Chris talked about how we kind of just want to do a silly one today, right?
Yeah, I think we should just do a silly one, man. The world is a fuck. This past week, the world was a fuck. Next week, I'm sure the world will be a fuck.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that then. But part of this, I think for us, is a little bit of, it's a little, 90-ish minute therapy session. And this week, I felt like what I needed was something a little silly. Not just breaking down exclusively the terrible happenings of the past week, but just doing something a little different. And maybe it'll be a little salve for your soul as well. So, Bill, I've got something I heard on a podcast that I can't remember what it was, but it's stuck with me ever since. And it is a little quiz that I want to give both of us.
All right.
And you, the listeners, can certainly feel free to follow along at home. Drop your answers in the comments. I want to talk about what I am calling the alien cryptid ghost scale. So, without further ado, let's start at the beginning with aliens. Here is the question, Bill.
Okay.
The question for each of these is going to be on a scale of 1 to 10. With 1 being, I'm almost certain that this thing does not exist, and 10 being, I am basically certain that it does exist.
Okay.
And then a little explanation of why you think that. So on a scale of 1 to 10, aliens.
I'm a 5 on aliens. I'm a 5. I think that my whole thing is that we have a very narrow conception of intelligence. Intelligence is something that we only sort of ascribe to being human-like. So when we talk about aliens, we're like an intelligent life form from somewhere else. We're talking about basically just only the extremely narrow definition of human intelligence, and we're not going to find that. So by that definition, an alien we can talk to that has intergalactic imperial aims, benevolent or otherwise, no. But an alien that is among us right now that we don't understand as such, yes.
Yeah, so it's interesting you put it that way. I'm going to say I'm about an 8. And actually kind of for the exact same reason. I would say alien, quote-unquote, intelligent life form as you have framed it, maybe not so much. But I think an extraterrestrial being, I think I can get down with that. I have seen theories that octopi might be an alien. I
like that.
Originally an alien life form. I think I can get behind that. I think I'm about an 8 on some kind of otherworldly entity arriving or having already long since arrived in our world. That
would be sick if octopus were the alien life form.
Yeah, I heard it and I like it, and so I've decided that I'm pretty sure it's true.
They are pretty freaky little guys.
Yeah, they're freaky cool little guys.
They're really cool, and they punch fish, which is my favorite fact. Just out of like ennui
Yep.
or spite.
Just because they want to.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Alien. So what's that movie? The James Cameron made where it's underwater. I'm not thinking of the name. It's they're in a submarine, and yeah, whatever. But
I don't know.
God, this is fabulous.
I'm a bad movie head.
There's a James Cameron movie that came out before Titanic, and the ending is in a massive underwater alien spaceship rises up and saves the people in the submarine. It's not a spoiler because I can't even remember the name of the movie, but imagine it's that just full of octopus. That'd be a real treat.
Yeah. Yeah. It might be the best chance we have at this moment. Yeah. All right. You got anything else on aliens, or are you ready to move on to cryptids?
I'm ready to move on to cryptids.
Okay. So, same scale, 1 to 10. How are you feeling about cryptids? This could be squatches. This could be Loch Ness monsters, Mothmans, any sort of chupacabras.
Mothman, 10. Sasquatch, 11. Everything else, I don't really care about.
Fair.
Mothman, I just love. I just want it to be real. I don't even care if it's real. Sasquatch is definitely real. I actually this is a belief that I actually like have. I'm not even kidding about it.
This is interesting. Say more.
Yeah. So there's a really good podcast called Wild Thing that breaks down sort of like Bigfoot research in a sympathetic way, and breaks down why Bigfoot research has been rejected by the academic establishment. And it makes a very compelling case. And there are archaeologists and anthropologists that have been sort of laughed out of academia that have made like really sort of hard to refute sort of discoveries on this. You just don't hear about it. You know, you only see that one video that's obviously fake of like the Sasquatch like waving. But I say all of this for, I don't know. I have, for the past 2 or 3 years, I have been slowly chipping away at a script for either a comic book or whatever form it's going to take. I might end up just writing it, but the Bigfoot is like there's like thousands of them, and they're more. They live longer and they are smarter than human beings, and they understand that human beings are inherently genocidal, so they avoid them. But human beings are killing the planet so much that they decide, last March of the Ents style, to come out and destroy capitalism.
I want to be where you are. As it stands, this is going to be a place where we disagree. I'm going to say I'm about a 2. Except on Mothman. I'm a 10 on Mothman. Just because I am. I'm not going to explain or answer any follow-up questions.
Mothman real. Mothman real.
Yeah, Mothman real.
Mothman real.
My feeling about a Bigfoot or Sasquatch type entity is that I believe that they could hide from us when they're alive. I feel like we probably would have found one when they're dead. I am open to having my mind changed on this. I'm very open to that. So I would like to know more about this podcast that you've been listening to, and any other Bigfoot or cryptid related materials. I want to believe in the words of the X-Files. I really do. Fun little story. Actually, the thing that prompted me to remember this question in the first place was several months ago, Bill reached out to someone who said that they had sighted a Sasquatch on Mount Wachusett. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, yep.
The only person I think we've reached out to about coming on the pod that left us on red, and I'm still pretty mad about it.
Yeah, that was so long ago that I've forgotten about it. Yeah, it was. I reached out to a guy who follows up on reported sightings on some like GeoCities run forum called like the Bigfoot Researchers Project or something. And I thought he would have been stoked for little outdoor cats publicity, but I guess not.
Yeah.
So I know maybe we'll find another Bigfoot investigator to take us out to Mount Wachusett and then give me a job in their Bigfoot investigating company.
Yeah. I mean, also, yeah, absolutely. If you want to hire me, I could believe in Bigfoots real quick. All right. That brings us to our last one, which is ghosts, or let's say ghosts, spirits, spiritual entities, however you would picture what a ghost or spiritual entity might be.
Yeah, I've this is good. Just you. Is this a ruse to just expose to everyone how much of a crackpot I am?
I promise it wasn't.
All right, another 10. Obviously, ghosts are real.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, ghosts are real. Just got finished reading Joy Williams's. Joy Williams. How do you say that out loud when it's an S at the end?
Williams
and,
is
S at the end and there's an apostrophe. Do you say it? Joy Williams' new short story compilation, or it's really more of a novella, called "Concerning the Future of Souls," and the main character is Azrael and the devil, and they talk about their soul harvesting pursuits. And I think that Azrael probably exists, and it's like the aliens. It's just something that we can't really comprehend as such. Do I think that there's like human ghouls like lurking in the shadows with like human aims? No, but I do think that souls and spirits go they are all around us all the time. Yeah. And we just can't recognize it really, and it's mostly a benevolent thing. I don't think that ghosts are that scary. I don't believe in scary ghosts. Scary ghosts, I'm a 0. Ghosts, I'm a 100 out of 10.
Yeah. So I guess if I was planning this to expose you as a crackpot, I was planning it to expose myself as one as well. I have an alien or UFO story. I'm going to save for the end. So that'll be a little treat in our little silly episode. The bread on the other side of the sandwich. But I am a 10 on some kind of spiritual energies existing beyond the point of when our physical bodies die. I pretty much agree with you. I think that they are largely benevolent. My experiences have certainly all been benevolent. I would say a couple things in support of this. One, basically every culture has some sort of example of this. Some of them are bad. The jinn are the ones I'm thinking of specifically. Mm-hmm. Jinn are supposed to be real bad. You don't want to fuck with those guys.
No, they're bad guys.
But largely, I think that I think also if you've ever experienced the death, if you've ever been in proximity to someone dying or some creature dying, you may have had that feeling, and I think I lean into it. I don't think it's just a silly coping mechanism. I have also lived in a house that when I moved into it, I was told basically it's haunted. You could put it in a different way, but like there's something here, there's things that happen here that aren't fully explainable, and it's fine, it won't hurt you, it's not scary. I lived in a really, really old, like colonial era house, like pre-revolutionary house, and by Mr. Motorcycle.
Joys of recording outside.
I lived in this very, very old house, and like a lot of old houses like that, it had a really old original part, and then it had an addition built onto it that was also pretty old. And when I lived there, the people that I was living with told me there's just some things that happen, and they only happen in the old part of the house, the original part. But sometimes you'll hear some kind of, thuds up in the attic. Or a thing I remember was there was a door. It was a latching door. And sometimes it would just swing open or swing closed when there was nothing there and no reason for it to do that. And I believe that was, I experienced it, and I don't know what it was.
Describe this door a little better or more.
It was a door. It was the door that went between the old part of the house and the new part of the house.
Oh, okay.
Or the less old part of the house. It was an interior door.
Okay, for some reason I was picturing like an attic door, like the kind that swing from the ceiling.
No, that would be scary.
Yeah,
especially my room was right next to that attic door, actually. So I'm glad that didn't happen.
So it would just open and close like randomly.
Yeah, sometimes you'd just be sitting in the living room. It wasn't directly in your view, but sometimes you'd just be sitting there. You'd be by yourself. There was no one else around, and the door would just swing.
Yeah, the ghost was like, "Don't worry about me. Just getting another drink.
Just going to get a beer from the fridge." So yeah, I'm solidly a 10. I think that something like that exists. I also want to believe that something like that exists. I want to believe that there is some part or aspect of us that carries on beyond our physical bodies. I don't believe in the typical concepts of heaven or whatever. I'd like to think that we just stay here in some form, and that the people that we've lost and the things we've lost are kind of just around in some ways, keeping an eye out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. There's this line that's been killing me ever since I read it in that Joy Williams book, where Azrael says to the devil, they understand that the souls don't belong to them once they die. Like they're not their souls anymore. They're just souls. I don't remember what the exact line is, but it's not off the top of my head right now. But it's just like that's like you just kind of go back into the soup.
Yeah.
It's a little Buddhist to think of it that way, but it's I believe that. I don't know. There's this animated movie, Glow, and it has a very, very trippy DMT sort of death sequence showing a creature going from being alive to becoming a soul, and it is so good. Yeah, so it's like this animated movie that like won a bunch of awards that got made on like a really crappy computer in like Czechoslovakia or something like that. But it's yeah, I don't know. That is for 1,000%. Something like that happens.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah. Well, if anyone wants to chime in with their thoughts on the subject, it's very easy. You can use the same grading system. Feel free to leave your thoughts and explanations.
Yeah.
Or don't. I don't give a shit.
If anybody leaves them, next episode we'll do a quick read through. Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
All right. Well, that was fun, and we should talk a little bit about some things that have happened. This is one that felt pretty relevant to talk about. This week in the Telegram, there was an article about a good reminder of if you're going to stick your neck out in the world and you are an elected official or you have a nonprofit. This is something that came up when I was at the bail fund a bunch of times. Make sure your money is right. To that end, there was an article, for what reasons I'm not exactly sure, in the Telegram, talking about the campaign contributions that Atel Hajiai has received since the Eureka Street incident.
It's so. Did they find Mr. Soros once and for all, or?
To be determined. To be determined. If Atel gets her Soros check, I need to know what address it was sent from. Mine are not coming. I'm kind of mad. I need the money.
Yeah.
I've been doing everything I'm supposed to do.
I know. The CIA doesn't pay like it used to.
No.
So I really kind of need that side income from Soros.
Yeah, the CIA doesn't a lot of things like it used to, unfortunately. And yeah, the money's not good.
Yeah.
The money's not good, folks. But here's a little poll. We'll link the article. You can read it or not. It's a kind of a shitty hit piece, honestly. But here's a little quote that I thought was worth focusing on. Hajiai's contributions after the Eureka Street incident came from as far as California, Texas, Virginia, Illinois, Minnesota, and Washington, D.C.
Oh.
Ooh, scary.
Scary.
In values ranging from $250 to $5, according to the OCPF records. Though
250, oh my God.
a substantial majority are from the Worcester area. Okay, so we don't really have a story except that our city councilor was involved in a very, very well-publicized national, international event, and people from outside of Worcester found out who she is, and they think she's cool, and they decided to give her money. That is literally the fucking story, except I found a little story inside the story that the Telegram isn't telling, but I think we should talk about a little more.
Sure, but before we move on,
Yeah.
like, do they not like understand that people outside of Worcester like can or would in any circumstance pay attention to Worcester?
And often do. This
Yeah.
is not like something that is unique to this race. It's not unique to this candidate. People from outside places give money to candidates all the time. They're usually not grassroots candidates like Atel, and that's where they, I think, are seeing the smoke here.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like, I get that it's they're trying to write a hit piece, but it just makes Atel look better.
I think I agree with you, and here's the thing. The next paragraph, or it's the next paragraph I pulled. It's shortly after in the article, if it's not literally the next paragraph. This is the next paragraph. Hajiai's campaign has more than $46,000 in cash on hand, which is more than any other candidate on the ballot for city council, except for Satya Mishra, who is running for an at-large position. Bill, does that name ring any bells with you?
Oh yeah. I'm a Mitra head. Mm-hmm. I think that his candidacy is fascinating. This is a guy who is basically like if you were to personify a shell company. It's Tim Murray's personified shell company.
Yeah.
Running for Worcester City Council.
Yeah, and that's a story.
Yeah.
That's the story
Yeah.
that they should be writing. But they didn't write it, and I'm not telling you or anyone else, Bill, to write it. But I did do a little digging. So if you, dear listener, have not heard of Satya Mishra, don't feel bad. This is not someone who's been involved in any sort of public or overt way in city politics ever. What you might have maybe seen is some weird random ad for something called either the Tax Guru or the Joy Guru. In fact, there are two such ads, permanent placement ads, right behind home plate at Polar Park. There's one for each. There is a Joy Guru ad, and there is a Tax Guru ad.
Joy Guru.
Joy Guru. Bill, do you know what the Joy Guru is?
No, just please.
Do you want to know?
Please explain it to me.
Okay. Well, first, let me give you this little detail. This is from the Tax Guru website. This is from a nice little explainer about who Dr. Mitra is and how he became the person that he is, the businessman and philanthropist that none of us know about. With the spiritual guidance of his family priest or guru, Dr. Mitra instead of what he was going to do before, which I don't remember, it's not important.
Yeah.
Dr. Mitra instead began a career as a tax consultant, financial planner, and investment advisor.
Just like Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. You know, he talked to his guru, and his guru said, "You, Satya Mitra, are destined to be a tax consultant."
Yeah, you're going. You. In my infinite wisdom, handed down and passed down through the generations in the guru community, I have decided that you will manage some funds.
Yes. So, all right. So the tax guru is like a fucking tax and financial planning thing. I think we can like wrap our heads around what that is.
Yeah.
The Joy Guru is the nonprofit, quote unquote, charitable. Charitable. I'm using a very diplomatic or a very generous definition of that word. It's a 501c3.
Attached to the tax guru.
I think so. I'm not good at pulling this stuff apart, and I went on a furious little dig this morning, so I haven't gotten too far, but I did pull. All 501c3s have to file filings about their money and what they spend money on and how they take it in, etc. The Joy Guru has, I think, as of the last reporting, about $400,000 in cash on hand. It takes in cash at about $50,000 to $100,000 a year. It doesn't seem to spend very much, except on advertising. Again, I'm not great at pulling these reports apart. It looked to me like it had a promotional expense of about 25% of its total budget, which people that look at charities you should give to or not give to would say is a lot. That is a high number. What I can tell you, I looked into, okay, so what does the Joy Guru do? Apparently, Dr. Mitra's father went blind when he was a child.
Okay.
So one of his passions is charities related to blindness. So apparently one of the ways that they give away money is the thing that they have on like public access where someone reads the newspaper and you can listen to it, which I think is really cool. That's legit cool. I hope they do give money to that. That's rad, and that's a cool thing to fund. Otherwise, I could not find actually really anything that they spend money on.
Yeah.
I found a flyer that said, like, during COVID, that was like, hey, if you need COVID assistance, call us. But I couldn't find any money that they actually gave out.
Okay.
I don't have much more on this except to say, it looks like what it looks like, and if anyone wants to do more digging, all of these reports are available for anyone online. We can also link them. I think the story here is how and why and from whom does Dr. Mitra have more money than Attell, an established candidate who is running her second campaign, versus a guy who is running his first campaign, who I think probably 95% of the people listening to this have never fucking heard of.
I've never heard him speak. I've only seen him. When was it? I saw him for one of the heated city council meetings. I think it was on the transphobia issue. Although some of them bleed together in my head now. I saw him come wearing his little Heart of the Commonwealth pin in a big lawyerly what are those black coats, like the long black coats that make anyone who wears it look evil.
Yeah.
Especially Joe Early. Oh my God, you see Joe Early at a winter press conference.
He's got an evil coat. You're right.
He had one of his evil coats on. He sees a bunch of lefties up there making a noise, and he turns right around and just walks back down the stairs.
Yep.
Never heard him speak. Don't know what he stands for. Apparently, he was gathering signatures by himself in the parking lot of a grocery store. A reader sent that like a picture of him doing that, and I was like, that's kind of sad. But yeah, for some reason, he has thrown more money into this race than any candidate I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He has more money than Joe Petty.
Yep.
And usually Joe Petty is has the most. And doesn't really need to spend it because everyone knows who Joe Petty is.
Yeah, and this is like a thing that entrenched candidates do, right? Like they raise more money than they need, they build a war chest, they build it and they build it. They can donate out of their war chest in certain loophole ways to other people's war chests, which is a nice thing to be able to do when you're entrenched power, trying to support other entrenched power. But yeah, I guess my closing thought on this is there is, I think, a story here. It's just not about a tell. It's about a guy. Also, Joe Petty runs fundraising events. Joe Petty does standouts. Joe Petty prints lawn signs and does, lit drops and the stuff that candidates do with their money. I haven't seen Dr. Mitra do any of those things as of yet.
I just pulled his report up. $70,000. In the campaign war chest as of 5/31/2025. I'm sorry if I cut you off, but I think I think we should go through where this money's coming from because it's pretty easy to do. Let's see. I am looking. We have someone from Boylston, someone from Northbridge. Someone from Paxton, someone from Glen Place, Silver Spring, Maryland.
Oh, an out-of-state donation?
Yeah, Lincoln, Rhode Island. Dedham, MA. There's Worcesters mixed in here. I'm just not reading those. Westboro, Wayland, New York. Look at that. And then the neat thing you can do here, which is usually very revealing, is some people put where they work, their place of work. You get a good sense of, look at this, Prince LaBelle Tie, LLP.
Prince LaBelle.
Yep.
That's a big white shoe law firm that does creepy shit.
Yeah, they run the Eyes Wide Shut meetings in the basement of the Worcester Club. Dresser and McGirthy, Northeast Properties. We love our slumlords. Shouts out Northeast Properties. Another attorney, St. Gabain, the Worcester Business Development Corporation, if you can believe it.
Wow.
Yeah. And let's see, $1,000 from the senior consultant of Advantis Management Solutions, who lives in Lane, Vienna, Virginia. I'm just gonna throw it out there that you should Google how close that is to Langley. That's a Northern Virginia as town name. And $1,000 on a campaign race. But it's really weird that the Telegram didn't write about this.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's it's almost like they have an agreement with the Chamber of Commerce on some things.
It feels that way. It's hard for it not to feel that way.
The thing about it is, this is all small sums in the grand scheme of things. Like Jim McGovern's, if you look at Jim McGovern's campaign finance thing, it's like he's got $4 million in that thing. And he doesn't spend anything on elections because he has that seat until he doesn't want it anymore. So we're talking about like small sums of money overall, but $70,000 is a lot of money to have raised and not really spent, right? I mean, I guess it's early in the campaign season, but you know, could there's something to dig in here. I'm not saying that it's true. I'm not saying that this is what it is, but there's something to be looked at here where, might this be similar to the Joy Guru in some ways, this council run? Could there be some tax guru magic afoot here?
Yeah. And look, as far as we know, this is all above board by campaign finance rules. I have no reason to think otherwise. I just think it's interesting when you have a candidate who has the most money in the race, who's raised a lot of money from out of state for no discernible reason for a city council seat in Worcester, Massachusetts. Why does someone in Northern Virginia want to give that person $1,000? Maybe they're friends, maybe they're business friends. I don't know. I really don't. I haven't looked into it.
Well, let's do some live on air research. This is interesting. We'll do some live reporting. Advantis Management Solutions.
I also feel like that's a company that I like. That's a
name sounds familiar. That's why I want to look it up.
In something that of his materials about himself.
Let's see here. They offer a range of services aimed at streamlining operations and fostering business growth. If they were a property like a real estate hedge fund, then I would be thinking about what sort of like buildings they want to get built here. But it looks like they are just like a pure speculation machine. Like they manage investment funds. So I don't know. I don't know what their business is in Worcester, but
could just be a rich guy with a rich friend. I mean, there's plenty of that also.
Yeah. Rich guys have rich friends, and that they keep the money in the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see. Well, it would be hilarious if, like, he just has such a poor grasp of issues and negative charisma that $70,000 doesn't get him on the city council. It would be. I mean, we. I don't even want to talk that much about the election, but it would be very funny and satisfying to see him not win. But we'll see.
It would, and we will see. It's happened before. Also, guys like this have gotten on council and school committee. Looking at you, Alex Guardiola. But yeah, that's really all I had on that. That does take us sort of through Eureka Street to, I think, something that we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about, because you already wrote an amazing piece about this past Tuesday's council meeting and what went down there, et cetera, et cetera. Except that it does draw the through line from what happened on Tuesday to some accusations that are flying around from our crank contingent towards a few city councilors, namely Councilor King, Councilor Nguyen, and Councilor Hajai. And Kate Toomey had a statement, I think.
Yes, Kate Toomey's statement on this, it's in my story, which is what I'm pulling up on my phone right now to read it. It is one of the funniest statements I've ever read.
Yeah, it fucking rules.
It's like, it is like, you couldn't come up like no one on Veep or like even like House of Cards or Parks and Rec especially, like people dream about bits this good. Did you also see that she? Well, of course you read it, but She had a late night Facebook.
Oh yeah.
She had a late night Facebook post after the Tuesday City Council meeting that literally just says police.
Police. My favorite Kate Toomey statement ever. It will never be topped.
Police.
Facebook post during wine hours and wine and ambient hours. It just says police. You nailed it, Kate.
Oh, you nailed it. You nailed it. Okay. Kate Toomey's statement. I'm gonna try to nail the cadence of her speech too. Tonight, the business of the people of the city of Worcester was aborted.
Aborted.
Okay, let me see if I can get past this first sentence. Tonight, the business of...
Sorry. Ooh, it gets me good.
Tonight, the business of the people of the city of Worcester was aborted again. Was aborted again. I'm sorry. I know I already wrote about this and I'm repeating myself, but that word choice is Hall of Fame. It is a Hall of Fame word choice. You could have said anything.
I feel like Mary Mullaney wrote that.
Aborted. She's so mad. She's so angry. She's like, ooh. We couldn't do my meeting. We couldn't do our meeting where we were gonna talk about the housing production plan, and we couldn't. I'm so mad. I'm so mad they aborted it. And you're like, oh, that's great. That's perfect.
Aborted it.
I got
the third trimester.
Tonight, the business of the people of the city of Worcester was aborted again due to people egged on by several of my colleagues to address national issues. Mid-testimony, one of our residents who was talking about an issue regarding homeless women was unable to continue.
I'm sure Kate was rapt with attention.
Yeah.
I'm sure she was eyes locked straight ahead, leaving Anthony Petroni on read on her phone while she listened to this woman talk about the housing crisis in Worcester, a topic she is so extremely concerned about.
She's so serious about solving homelessness, especially in untangling the role that the police play in making sure that homelessness never goes away. She's really interested in that, and you can tell because 4 years ago she put an item on a city council agenda after reading an article about how maybe tiny homes, homeless in the tiny homes. I don't know. I read an article with homeless people, and let's just make a bunch of tiny homes. She didn't talk about where those would go.
Yeah, you know what are also tiny homes? Tents and encampments are tiny homes.
Right.
Can't have those though.
Can't have those. But we can have maybe some tiny homes. Yeah. So this very serious policy expert on what are national issues and what aren't. She continues. Mid-testimony, one of our residents who was talking about an issue regarding homeless women was unable to continue because of the rude interruption. It is an incredible disservice to the citizens of our city. If people want to protest ICE, they should go to the federal courthouse.
They did, by the way.
Yeah. I am attaching a post from my colleague, and then in brackets for some reason, to Nguyen, which is another amazing choice. I mean, I don't know why you had to put that in brackets. You can just say my colleague to Nguyen. Anyway, who is too afraid to come to meetings, but can encourage violence and yet still get paid.
She's not mad, folks.
She's not mad, and not letting her anger make her commit seriously funny typos.
Yeah, not letting her anger make her type right through the Ambien and the Chablis.
Who is too afraid to come to meetings, comma, but can encourage violence and yet still get paid. That's Interesting use of the term violence. I was there. I did not see anything violent happen. Is she just like going full blue hair with this, where being made to feel uncomfortable is violence?
Yeah, it's weird. A criticism I've had of the left as a leftist myself is the overuse and watering down of the word violence. I think violence means something, and it should be used in a way that it continues to mean something. This feels, I'm sorry, Kate, this feels kind of woke.
Yeah, it's a little bit woke. And you know what? There's a wider sort of thread to this, because who does Kate take her marching orders from? The police unions. What have the police unions been demanding for the past couple of weeks until it happened? Charges pressed against Attell. What are the charges for? What they call violence, and what obviously is not violence. Anyone can watch any of those videos and show me where the violence is. Thomas Duffy's out there saying that Attell was violent. Now we have Kate Toomey, leveling that same absolutely outrageous accusation against people who showed up and were mad about the way the city handled something that happened in the city. Yes. How do you call this a national issue?
Bill, I'm so glad you brought this up. You pointed it out in your piece. Eureka Street, the cooperation between police, and specifically the Worcester Police, and federal agents is a national issue. It is also an extremely local issue that we have a fucking neon sign of an example of from, 5 weeks ago?
Yeah, right. That the council just has done its darndest to avoid talking about in any meaningful way.
Which is why the response, not the initiation of people coming in and doing the violence of interrupting verbally a city council meeting, is a reaction to something else that happened, as all of this always is. It is a reaction to state repression. It wasn't the first move. It's right. What happens when something like that occurs and our governing body refuses to address it. People come in and they yell for them to address it.
Right.
And that's violence.
That's violence now. The lead into this, this sort of conspiracy theory going around, is advanced in this statement. Candy Merrill Carlson also advances it in her statement, which is similar, but not as funny. So there's no reason to read it. But that this was like an inside job.
Yeah.
that Attell and Christian and two conspired, and their smoking gun evidence for this is that two shared a flyer about the fact that a demonstration was happening at City Hall. The nowhere on the flyer is it written, "We're gonna storm the chambers, baby." I usually have a sense of what's going to happen at these sort of actions, because I have my little spiders and spies everywhere. I had no idea that they were going to. It could have been like a spur of the moment, impromptu decision, whatever. It's not my business, and it's not particularly interesting to figure out whether it was a planned or spontaneous move on the demonstrators' part. But that's not a smoking gun. That does not show anything about who organized it and for what reasons. I mean, the reasons are on the news. We're on the news the entire week leading up to this.
Right.
How do you think that how do you not see the connection between this in Los Angeles? There's demonstrations all over the country in every city that are just like this one. And you think that it's some crazy conspiracy from... Well, they don't actually think this. I think it's just the line that they're going with. But Kate Toomey might actually think it because she's very dumb.
Yeah.
It baffles, and it's like I couldn't really bring myself in the piece, and nor even now to like seriously wrestle with it, as like a serious line of thought, because it's just so deeply unserious,
Yeah, there's so many serious lines of thought to grapple with right now, and this just isn't one of them.
Yeah.
It just isn't.
I mean, that it's just, not to get too dark about it, but it's just like Kate Toomey is like a magnified example of like your average Democrat's inability to to grapple with this moment, and it's not good. We really, really, really need these people to not be in power anymore. But anyway, maybe maybe Dr. Mitra will knock Kate Toomey off.
Maybe that would be funny.
Yeah,
that would be really funny.
Yeah, the thing about Kate Toomey is she our best shot with her is to bully her out of office. She gets the most votes out of anybody, and I think we know why. Because she's shown herself to do everything the police union officials want her to do, and that gets you a lot of votes in this town. So
yeah, there are a couple of candidates. I would say Candy wants to be there. I don't think she's there, but certainly Kate and Mayor Petty are the candidates of, if you think everything that is happening in the city in terms of its leadership and its power structures are A-okay, these are the people you vote for. And that is still a position that can win the day in the city of Worcester. I think an alternative to that is rapidly forming and growing in power every day. Will it be enough power for this November? We will find out. But that power, that position is not an unpopular one amongst the traditional voter base in this city, and so it's hard to get rid of people like that, and we probably won't this time around.
Yeah, but we'll get closer, and the thing that we got to keep in mind, the thing that makes it all worth it, is we're building a bench, we're building something new, and they are not. They are appealing to a group of people that only gets smaller.
They are a demographic that every day inches closer to death.
Yes. They are not appealing to anyone new in any way. Yeah. Nor do they want to. So there is that. Not that that's like, that's not like a good thing. I would love it if we could just kick some ass in November, but I think the long-term way to look at it is we kind of see what's on the horizon, and you want to go into that with a really strong community.
Yeah, it's not a good thing, it's just a thing, and you have to be realistic about the field of battle in front of you if you want to have any kind of success. And part of that is understanding where the winds are closest and where they're a little farther away.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to leave it on that one.
Yeah, I agree. Do you want to talk at all, maybe just a little bit, about the super sad Trump birthday military parade yesterday?
I just love the pictures of him. The way that he's sitting is like how I would sit at all hands meetings from the company that destroyed Worcester Magazine. The body language of the way he was sitting through that is like, it just screams like he wants to like jettison himself out of his own fucking skin. It's awesome.
It's really funny to see a guy get exactly what he wanted and just be fucking miserable about it.
Yeah.
I've watched like next to nothing about this. I've seen some of the pictures of him sitting like you're talking about, and also kind of falling asleep. There is one clip. I've literally seen like one actual clip of the parade, and it is a clip. I'll find it and we can share it. It is a clip of a Sherman tank rolling down the road, and it's Sherman tanks are old, and even when they weren't old, they're squeaky. They're loud. Their tracks make a lot of noise, and the Sherman tank is rolling down the road through the procession, past grandstands that are 95% empty, full of people that are silent, and all you hear is the squeak of the Abrams tank. And that has had me fucking rolling for a solid 24.
It's like it is on the level of that clip from CNN when the Ukraine war broke out, of the air raid siren over Kiev, and then it cuts to the Applebee's commercial with and a little bit of chicken fried. It's like that level of just like dark humor. It's amazing. It's like it's eerie quiet.
Yeah.
And then there's the other video I like is the soldiers marching, and they just can't march right. Like they're marching like shit.
So apparently, a not insignificant number of those people were hired and costumed by a costuming company. They wanted to have, Trump is known if nothing else for his love of aesthetics, or a certain kind of aesthetic, let's say. But yeah, there was apparently a big call put out for military uniforms throughout the ages of the American military. And some of the people that were marching were soldiers, and some of the people that were marching were just people who got paid to put on a uniform. And yeah, it kind of showed. It was pretty funny.
That's awesome, man. I love our republic.
It's so cool. Yeah, I mean, and then on the flip side of that, I don't think we have to talk about it a lot unless you want to, but there were hundreds, or probably maybe even 1,000 or so No Kings rallies yesterday. Without getting into it a ton, I will just say I didn't go to one. I am kind of no shade on anyone who did. I get the inclination. I personally have gotten to, the last time I went to one of these things, some other shit happened that I've already talked about, with Walter Crockett calling the police on a dude. But I will say, like, I showed up the last time, and I was like, I just had this moment where I was like, these people are all here to listen to the same 10 people, plus Bill Shaner.
Whoa!
Oh, jeez.
That scared the shit out of me.
The same 10 people, plus Bill Shaner, to give the same speech, except for Bill Shaner. And then they're all just here to look at each other's clever signs.
Yeah.
And just be like, wow, that's a clever sign. Did you see mine's pretty clever? You see what I did with the thing there?
Yeah, right.
The thing about the ice melting, or I don't put ice in my coffee.
Yeah.
Or no kings, yes queens.
Oh, is that a real one?
Oh, that's like a meme at this
no.
point. Yeah, that's I didn't make that up. God, if that ever came out of my fucking head.
Yeah.
Please find something to put through it.
Yeah, I know. It was very, very funny bringing a speech that I thought was pretty good, and seeing which lines landed and which lines didn't.
Yeah.
TV show for a death cult. The line that proved to predict the future went over like a wet blanket. People did not like that line because, and there's a certain amount of liberalism in 2025 that's complicit in the death cult in the TV show, and sort of likes the TV show, which is a huge problem. It's but yeah, I didn't go either. My funky ass just went right to brunch.
Yeah, just got to go right to brunch. I mean, there's not going to be a line at brunch when the No Kings rally is happening.
Yeah,
so
you get the best spot.
Honestly, no shade to people who went. There is the thing I've been trying to think about is like there is an energy. It is being shown at the turnout at these events. That energy needs a place to go and an activity to manifest itself in, and that's what I don't see. And I don't think the Democrats are going to give it to you, and I don't think Indivisible is going to give it to you.
Yeah.
So think about, ways that we can all maybe do something with that energy. What I will say, though, compare and contrast to the president's birthday army party. There was no energy. There was no one there.
Energy, no.
There is an energy at least, and something could happen with it. I want to take us on a tangent as we go out of this. I was just thinking about it. I was actually thinking about it when I was at the rally watching you speak. Several years ago, I go to a bluegrass festival every year, and I was at this bluegrass festival, and there's this dude, Rashad Eggleston. He used to play in kind of an established bluegrass band, but he's this crazy cellist. I mean, he's fucking crazy. He's a lunatic. In the best possible ways. I love Rashad Eggleston. Rashad has had a bunch of crazy music side projects, and he had this one at the time called Tornado Rider. I got to send you some Tornado Rider. Maybe we can go out with some Tornado Rider this week.
Rider, yeah.
Yeah, Tornado Rider was...
I'm unaware of this. Sounds cool.
Rashad Eggleston, maestro on the cellist, also lunatic, a guitarist, and a drummer.
Okay.
Whole band.
Oh, sick.
And I saw that they were coming, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I watched some videos. Rashad's like going to festivals. He's at Sunapee and stuff. He's crawling up in the fucking rafters of the place, swinging his cello around, being a maniac. My buddies and I, we all go. It's the late night Saturday, the dance tent. We call it show. It's the big last party of the festival before everyone gets up on Sunday and packs their shit up and goes home. And they went on, and about 45 minutes into their set, it was like, all right, it's time to cut. We have a time when music stops so that everyone go to sleep. And they just kept playing for like another 2 hours. And it was one of those things, I was watching it and I was like, this fucking rules. And also, I will never see this again. This band will never be invited back here again. I will never. This is the only time in my life I'm ever going to get to see this. Watching you speak that day, I was like, man, this fucking rules. And also, there will not be a follow-up invite. I'm watching this the one time it's going to happen.
I was not invited to the next one. That's I never thought about it that way. It's going to be my first and last speech.
It's the way to do it, man. Yeah. It's the way to do it. That's how you know you did it right.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
Well, I think we're getting close to a wrap here, but there's two last things. One of which is yours, Bill. I know we are very close to the fifth anniversary.
Fifth anniversary. 5 years. 5 years I've had the privilege of calling this work, and it's really cool. The 19th, that's a Thursday. I'm gonna be putting together a big sort of retrospective state of the newsletter, sort of like look at where we are half a decade into doing this, and I don't know, short version right now is I'm doing better than ever. The subscribers continue to come in. The overall pool continues to grow. We have more paid subscribers than ever. And we were doing more stuff than ever. You know, we got a podcast now and 4 different columns, and it's all going really good. And I don't know. It's time to start thinking about where we want to be 5 years from now. And will we have succeeded in the quest of fully resurrecting in Alt Weekly in the city of Worcester? And we're getting closer every day. But so thank you to everyone who's been supporting along the way. It's been the joy of my life. The coolest thing I've ever done with my life is to have launched this and kept it going for this long. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best $69 a year I spend. And I certainly feel like I get my money's worth. I hope everybody else does as well. If you've been on the fence, I'll make the pitch this time for Bill. And just say, it's the best $69 you'll ever spend.
Yeah.
It's really worthwhile. You'll feel good that you're putting that money in to keep this wild wagon rolling.
Yeah. For the rest of the month, running a 50% off for a year deal, so you don't even have to spend $69.
It's fun to spend $69 a month, though. I need to say that.
Yes. $69 a year.
I'm sorry,
I
year.
would love it if you were spending $69 a month. Substack is pretty limited in terms of the tiers you can offer, but that would be a really funny tier to just see if anybody does it. I mean, I don't think anybody would, but maybe I have a rich person in there that likes having a little joke. I don't know. But yeah, a thing that is probably too much to talk about now, but is a conversation I'm increasingly having with myself and with other people, is kind of hate Substack a lot. Would like to get off of it. But the problem is every other company that is a competitor to Substack is kind of just the same thing, but does it a little worse. There's no like benevolent company. They are all just tech companies at the end of the day. Reader Shawnee D sent me a really, really interesting article about what's her face, Barry Weiss, in the Free Press.
Yeah,
which is real pleasure to call her a coworker.
Yep. Love Barry.
Yeah,
one of your biggest fans, Barry. No, I'm not. In case anyone didn't know,
right.
Barry Weiss, you fucking suck.
There's a throwaway line in that piece about how it wouldn't be all that hard to develop what Substack offers in DIY fashion. So, if there's anyone listening that is tech savvy, a web developer, a website designer, there would be this would building something from the ground up for Worcester Sucks that exists just in Worcester, I think would be a cool project, long-term project to embark on. But that's way beyond my capabilities. So I'm just putting that out there. If there's anybody listening that goes, oh, I know every single thing about websites, and I could link a email newsletter to a Stripe account and run it, and then I wouldn't have to be paying Substack for, and we'd have more money to spend on more reporting. So something to think about.
Well, that's all well and good, Bill. But I have another thing for you to think about, and it's very important. If you leave Substack, Andrew Marsh's mother isn't going to think that the monthly subscription is for a sub shop. Have you thought about that? Maybe you name your DIY thing
Sub shop.
Shotgun Billy's Pizza Parlor.
The name of the company will be what was the specific word that made Andrew Marsh's mom? That's a good callback to last episode. That's so funny. We gotta have Andrew Marsh on the show sometime.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah. Bill's Subs.
Bill's Subs.
Wait, that's the. I should. If I ever have to make like an LLC, I'm calling it Bill's Subs LLC. Bill's subs. That would be such a good bit. We should do a video, subscribers only video extension of this podcast where we do sandwich reviews. Oh my god, that'd be really fun.
I actually have I think that's a great idea. I also, I might have told you this. I don't think I've said it on the pod. A weird little thing that I've gotten super into is MREs, meals ready to eat.
Yeah.
For both post-apocalyptic purposes, but also just because I follow a YouTube channel of a guy who just like earnestly for a decade has been getting MREs from all over the world, and rare and old and foreign ones, and he like does these very extensive reviews of them.
Oh my god.
I just spent not like a crazy amount of money, but I mean more money than you should spend on a day's food to get a German one for the first time, because I want to try some German MRE pate. But I have a zany idea for a zany episode where maybe we eat a weird like Estonian MRE and talk about it.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fuck it.
That's crazy.
All right. With that, I think there was one last thing.
There's one last thing you wanted to get to.
Yeah, I asked Bill when I was thinking about zany episode. I was thinking maybe the other end of the bread on the other side of the zany episode sandwich could be a question that I was thinking about recently, which was, did you ever have like a really profound or like big thought in your head that you wrestled with when you were a kid? And I'm gonna give the one I was thinking of, and then Bill took it in a different direction that also got me thinking in a different direction. Mine was just thinking about space and like what's at the end of space and what's on the other side of the end of space. Like there has to be something, right? Like what could possibly be like the actual end of everything, of the entire universe? And I couldn't then, and still can't think of what that would be, which means it goes on forever and it's endless. And I don't really have any more to say about it, except I've been thinking about it for, I don't know, close to 40 years, and that was my little thing that I would lay in bed wrestling with as a kid.
You ever try to just zoom out?
Yeah.
Keep zooming out?
Keep zooming out.
Yeah.
What's out there? What's at the other side of what's out there?
Yeah, you just keep pinching the map.
Yeah.
It just keeps going. It is hard to think about.
It's hard to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit like fucking, yeah, it hurts the brain. Yeah, so you put it out to me to try to think about some sort of profound childhood question to wrestle with. One of the things I still can't wrestle with is my bedroom had stucco paint on the walls, like in a twisting your wrist and spreading it fashion.
Yeah,
so
I could see it. I had ceilings like that.
So my wall was like that. And one night, I was just looking at it, trying to fall asleep, and I saw it form into a wolf, and then the wolf came out of it toward me. And I was so scared by it. And the presence of it and the prospect of it happening again was weighing so heavily on me that my dad had to come and repaint it. It's still a mystery to me. I saw it very, very vividly and very clearly. And I don't know, I guess little kids' brains, I think, have an access to some things that we eventually get sealed off from as we socialize into a world that is hostile to magic and spirits and such. And I think that I was accessing something that I shouldn't have been, you know?
Yeah. So when I read it, that's what it got me thinking about, was something a little bit different, which was what you honed in on, which was like stuff that your kid brain does that, like, I mean, if you know me, you know that I have been, in periods of my life, relatively enthusiastic about fun drugs, psychedelics, hallucinogens, things that make you see things or expand your perception, or whatever you want to call it. But when there's those little kid things that are just like, I don't think that could even probably happen on drugs in the same kind of way. And it got me thinking about a couple things. One was when I was a kid, I have a very vivid memory that feels as real as any memory that I've ever had, that I was doing a Ouija board with two of my uncles. I have two uncles. This is going to be an uncle heavy ending. So shout out to uncles.
Shout out to all the uncles. Happy Uncle Day. Oh shit! I gotta call my dad.
Yeah. Two of the uncles, my youngest uncles, Peter and Michael. We were using a Ouija board, and then it said something, I don't remember what, and we ran into an adjacent bedroom, and there was a Raggedy Ann doll, and it sat up on a shelf. I know this didn't happen. Like, logically, I know it didn't happen, but I remember it happening. Like, it's as real as anything else I remember.
Like it was doing a sit-up?
Like it just sat, it was like laid down flat.
Yeah. And
then it just like kinked at the waist and the head sat up and looked at us. And it was terrifying.
Whoa.
Yeah. I have one more.
Yeah,
this is where it's funny. I also have a memory of another one of my uncles, my Uncle Randy. Shout out to Uncle Randy. I remember being a kid with my Uncle Randy down in like southern Berkshires, where a lot of my family lives. So like Sheffield, Ashley Falls, south of Great Barrington. If anyone knows, I mean, Great Barrington's probably the place people would know. Us being in the car, driving through a rural area of fields like that whole area is, and seeing a UFO.
Damn.
Seeing like an actual UFO in the sky. And I put that memory away forever until a couple years ago when they started to make Unsolved Mysteries again. One of the episodes of Unsolved Mysteries that they made was an episode about a rash of UFO sightings in that exact location.
No way.
In the southern Berkshires.
Oh, wow.
At the exact time that I remember it happening. Like the period of my life. I couldn't remember the day, but I know I was like 4.
Wow.
And that's when it was. So apparently that is not something that only exists in my head.
That's crazy.
Right?
So you saw an actual UFO.
Maybe.
Can you describe it visually?
I don't. I just remember it being bright and round and up above the field and it being up there. And I remember being like, holy shit. Or not, I mean, the 4-year-old version of holy shit. And us being scared and then it going away. That's all I remember.
Damn. I have to... So the last podcast that I did, or tried to do, we did a whole episode about aliens. The podcast was called Highway 69. The episodes are not anywhere besides on the hard drive of an old computer of mine that is broken. I am going to try to get them. I've bought the toolkit and everything. Since doing this podcast, it has me thinking about that, because there's a couple episodes of that that are kind of special, and the alien one is very special. My two co-hosts share two UFO stories that are insane. So UFOs real. 10 out of 10 UFOs.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's crazy. You got to link me that episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
I will. Yeah. Sat down with Aaron one night just to watch Unsolved Mysteries. No idea what I was getting myself into, and we were watching it, and I'm sitting there trying to not sound like a crazy person while I tell
I tell
the person who has theoretically decided to marry me but not actually done it yet, like, oh my God, I saw that. I was there. I remember that happening.
Bro, that's my UFO.
Yeah, like, no, I've never told anyone about it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm watching this, and now I fully remember it fucking happening.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, we did a good job being a little silly on this one.
I hope we did. I hope people like it. I hope it makes everybody, just feel a little bit lighter for the however 90-ish minutes it is.
Yeah, it's pretty much right there.
Yeah, well, there you go.
There you go. Nice job putting together the program today.
Thanks.
You are a podcast program putter together extraordinaire.
This is all part of my long plan to take over the podcast in a hostile fashion and reap all of the money it doesn't bring in. The money and power.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to end up like Arthur the Moolis over at Market Basket. There's going to be a family revolt.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so we'll talk to everybody next week, and hopefully nothing crazy will happen, and we can keep it silly again.
Yeah, that's probably how it's going to go.
Yeah, I need to find some wood to knock on. All right.
Later.
Yeah.
Paranoid pain. I'm gonna pick them up and throw them down the drain. Not gonna go insane. Not gonna go insane. I'm gonna say goodbye to paranoidness and pain. Paranoidness and pain. Paranoidness and pain. I'm gonna pick them up and throw them down the drain. Not gonna go insane. Not gonna go insane. I'm gonna say goodbye to paranoidness and pain. So please just rise out of bed. You'll be seen when you're dead. Please just rise out of bed. You'll be seen when you're dead. Drums! Oh no! In fairness and shame, in fairness and shame, I'm gonna kick them out and leave them in the rain. Not gonna go insane, not gonna go insane. I'm gonna say goodbye in fairness and shame, in fairness and shame, in fairness and shame. I'm gonna kick them out and leave them in the rain. Not gonna go insane, not gonna go insane. I'm gonna say goodbye in fairness and shame. Please just rise out of bed. Yeah, you see when you're dead. Please just rise out of bed. Yeah, you see when you're dead. Oh! They creep and creep and creep. Then they creep some more. They can keep on creeping and creep right out the door. They creep